but tonight, so before we go into the recipes, we're going to talk a little bit about aging gracefully. Now, some of us would probably argue that aging gracefully is a, what do you say, how do you say, oxymoron? You know, there's nothing graceful about aging, right? However, that's what, my wife gave a talk here, I think it was about 6 years ago, I don't know if anybody remembers that, on aging, and long enough ago we can revisit some of the things, and I'll have a different style anyway. So, of course, important to notice that we're online as well, of course, but whatever we say here is informational and doesn't replace the qualified advice of someone who is trained to take your situation into account. So we have to say that, but just keep that in mind. I did have a video, but I don't think it's going to play, Joe. I don't think it's going to work. So, well, you know what I can do? I can go for it. I can show you the imagery, and if we can't hear anything, then we can at least, here we go. No sound? No, no sound. A video from Canada, and it compares, it gives you kind of the same person. Oh, it doesn't even work. Can't even see it, can you? Can you see it? You can't see it. No. Well, there's no point showing you what you can't see. So it was a video from, oh, now it's on. Oh, I can't play on both at the same time. All right, there you go. It's the same man in two different situations. You can see him. One is he's in hospital, he's convalescing, or the other is he's going to events, playing with his grandkids. And it was just pointing out, you know, kind of which way is it going to be. And at the end, it's sort of, the words at the end to all Canadians is it says that in their last 10 years, most Canadians will spend in disease, not in health. And there you go. And so it's just a challenge to Canadians, but we're sort of probably not much different here, that we're living longer. That's what I wanted to put up now. It's already happened since 2017 to 2023. They raised the pension age. So now it's 67, right? Not 65. So that's because we're living longer. So you would think that we're living longer, that means we're more healthy. Well, we don't have the kind of disease burden of infectious disease in our society, right? But now what we have is lifestyle disease. So later in our life, our quality of life, you could argue, is not what it could be, yeah, because of lifestyle. Mostly things that we can do something about. So now years ago we talked about this, and I had to update, this is 11 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, and the causes of death from 2012 to 2023, they're virtually the same. The top 20 mostly are to do with lifestyle. There is falls. You could argue that having a fall might be to do with your state of health, though, because of other lifestyle factors. The only one that's moving, which I thought was really interesting, dementia and Alzheimer's used to be number 3. Now it's number 2. It's moving up. I thought that was interesting, just because I wanted to refresh the specs when I pulled it up to show you tonight. So dementia and Alzheimer's is going up. It's kind of, I'm pretty sure it was around 10,000 in 2012. So it's gone way up. So that was interesting. The other one is probably temporary. COVID-19 is still around, and people are still getting that on their death certificates, that they've died, they've had an infection. It's the only communicable disease on here that wasn't even on in 2012. There was nothing communicable in the top list at the time. So that's what's interesting and different. But everything else in the top 10, I could only fit 10 on the screen, right? But everything else is you can put down to basically the choices that we make in the lifestyle that we live, right? And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. We've been doing this for the community here in Schofields for many years now, is that we just want to just keep bringing awareness to lifestyle. And of course, we're talking about how we eat, because that's a big thing, isn't it? How we eat is a big part of our life and our lifestyle diseases. But it's not the only thing. So tonight, I don't want to just talk about diet. I picked 3 things And if they still want me to go longer, I have a bit of an encore after if we still have things to chat about. But 3 things is you should always pick 3 things, right? We can remember. Of lifestyle. Now we could think of probably a lot of different things that are factors of lifestyle for us to do with aging, because a lot of us here are getting on. I may not look at it like it, but I'm getting on as well. And so as we get older, there is something we should do just as much, but we don't. Actually, probably a few things. But the one I'm thinking of, can you guess? Exercise, yes, I'll get to that. That's number 2 or 3. But there's another one. Drink water, yes. So number 1 is hydrate. Number 1. Now my brother trained as a paramedic, in America, of course, that's where I come from, and over in Tennessee, he used to work in Nashville. I've heard of Nashville. And he told me stories, and he said one of the things, he said, I was on the Band-Aid wagon. Now, I might have told that to you here before, some time ago. You don't remember that story? Some of you might. He used to drive the Band-Aid wagon, they call it. So that's patient transport. And he said most of the jobs were from nursing home situations, so it's maybe assisted living or maybe more constant care, but someone would be there and they would be unwell. And they would need to be transported to hospital. So he said, we would turn up, roll the stretcher in, load them up, and we would take them off to hospital. And he said, you wouldn't believe how many times, by the time we get them to the hospital, they're doing pretty well. Like they don't really need to be there. And I said, well, what do you do to them? Do you have some magic thing that you do to them on the way? Yes, they do. There's a one magic thing, a special magic potion that the medics all have in the ambulances that they give to everybody on the way to hospital. Can you guess what it is? They plumb it in their arm. It's just water and a bit of salt. Okay, and by the time they've got half a liter or a liter on board or whatever much they put in, they're feeling pretty good. And he said if they would just drink water, he said, all of those transport cases would never have to be. And I thought that was really amazing, that by the time they've gone to the hospital, they've picked up really well, just because they're dehydrated. Now, there may be other problems too, but you wonder how much of that is dehydration. So I am proving it myself that the older you get, the less you think about drinking. Okay, when I was younger, I get thirsty, and you actually have to start thinking about it and making habits. So my office downstairs, I'm here for 2 weeks, working downstairs, so on the desk I have a glass, and it lives there, because otherwise I will forget. And so by habit, I reach over and grab the glass, and when it's empty, I got to go refill it. That's just how because otherwise I wouldn't think. I could go all day and I just wouldn't think about it, you know? So it's really important that we have some kind of way to keep up. Your need for hydration doesn't go down. Your thought or your sensation goes down, but your need doesn't go down. So we've all got to do that. All got to keep it up. And that's going to be really, really good. So speaking of drinking water, from Nutrition Australia, water supports many vital functions in the body, including hydration, digestion, blood volume. That's an important thing too. Your blood is made up of water. You need that. As you age, you may not feel thirsty as often. We all know that already, right? Even when your body needs fluid. So you don't realize it, but you're thirsty. Yeah. So that's really something. Nutrition Australia say aim to drink at least 6 times a day, and more, of course, in warmer weather, or if you're exercising. And of course, they reckon that other fluids do count, but water is always best. Yeah, I think we kind of all know that. So yeah. I was just thinking about just running it out of the tap, and I hate the way it tastes. Anybody else in that situation? You just hate the taste, you just don't like it, right? So we've got to get around that somehow. You know, it's your health, and you've got to drink. So sometimes we'll get, benchtop filters or something that sort of takes that chlorine taste and whatever else out of it, but we've got to drink. So we've got to get past that and be able to. I had one of my adopted siblings. Once I left home, my parents adopted a few more, and they came in from really, really bad situations in terms of nutrition and habits. That's probably why they were taken out of the situations because the level of care in those homes was not great, was really not good at all. And so one of my adopted brothers came, and of course Mum said all of them came, they would only drink Coke and eat pizza. All right? So she said, I took them off the Coke onto a different soft drink that was uncaffeinated. And then she said, and then I started watering it down. You know, and there was, over time, there was less soft drink and more water in the, you know. And she said, but there was one who held out. That was the oldest boy. And my dad said, he said, I got desperate, I didn't know what to do. So he said, finally, it was a nice hot summer day, and we decided to go hiking up the mountain. And he said, I took a big water bottle with me on my belt, you know, taking it along. And then he wasn't going to drink anything, of course. And it's really hot day, and he said, I walked him all the way, hiked him all the way to the top of the mountain. He was just dying, you know. And finally, and Dad says, every now and again I would take a sip. Oh, this is really good. Shame you won't drink it, but anyway, you know. And finally, at the top of the mountain, he was begging, please give me some. He said he's drank water ever since. So, extreme measures, but that's how important it is, right? And so, I always thought that was a funny story with Mum and Dad, teaching the kids to drink their water. So you've got to get over that hump if that's you. I don't like to drink tap water straight up, but fortunately here we've got a filter, and so I just go and fill my glass, and it's not too bad. Yeah. So hydration is really key, really important as we age, and it will sneak up on you because you will not really realize that you're not drinking enough. Yeah. So like a lot of us here are pretty health conscious and everything, but I think it bears repeating because I've always heard that all my life. I always, you know, at work on job sites, I would carry a water bottle in my tool bag on my belt, it was just, you know. And I myself am realizing that I'm not drinking water as I should be. Yeah, so it bears repeating. So that's number one. Now, someone mentioned exercise. That's number two. Okay, so number one was hydrate. Number two is move. Keep moving. Now, what are reasons that we may, as we age, that we may not move enough? What do you think? Maybe it all doesn't work like it used to. And so if something's uncomfortable, you avoid it. Yeah, there can be some pretty serious reasons why you got to be careful. Yeah. So, and I understand that, but it's really important for a lot of reasons. One of the studies from Monash University, they looked at obesity and diabetes in terms of exercise, and they found that there's a lot of these things go together: cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, diabetes. And big thing with diabetes is what? Exercise. Big thing. Totally changes your metabolism. So it's not just about weight. Being active, let's see, the things they can do. Okay, reduce or manage diabetes and cardiovascular, so reduce risk of, or manage the actual management of diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Helps with blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar levels. I don't think I had depression and anxiety, but big thing for mental health as well, exercise. Some cancer risk, helps manage weight, maintains strength of muscles and bones. So what happens with our muscles and our bones? What do they need? They need resistance. So it's interesting that people coming back from space, you know, they spend weeks or months on the space station. You see them taking the astronauts, they actually offload them very gently because they've lost a lot of strength. Their muscles have atrophied, their bones, and so they actually need to get used to gravity again, you know? Here we go. Mental well-being is on there as well, yeah. So what are the recommendations? This is just from health.gov.au. 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate intensity activity, such as a brisk walk, swimming, mowing the lawn. 1.25 to 2.5 hours of vigorous activity like jogging, aerobics, fast cycling, etc. And, you know, other physical activities. I guess these days that is, yeah, that's weekly. Thank you for the question. That's per week, yes. Yeah, so I mean, these days there are so many machines have taken over so many things. We don't have to do manually so many things that we used to do. So, but we still have to exercise. And I've been thinking about this. Well, let me give me the rest of the things. Okay, so they do talk about as well muscle strengthening activities. So that's you're pushing against resistance, push-ups, pull-ups, squats, lunges, lifting weights, whatever you can do that's okay for you in your context that you can do safely without being injured, obviously. Swimming is one. I know my grandma, when she had bad knees, there's a lot of things she couldn't do. She couldn't walk. She couldn't go running, jogging. She's getting on. How old was she at the time? She wasn't that old. She's probably my age now. Actually, I don't know. But I remember that. But she went swimming. Or in the pool aerobics. So you're resisting against the water, she can move. So there's always things you can do. We do at home, we have a big one of these, but it's called a trampoline, right? It has a fancy name, it's called a rebounder. Okay, it's the same thing. You stand on that and you can just gently. And it's great because now your body is feeling more gravity. Your bones, your muscles, your body's feeling more gravity as you just gently bounce up and down. I say bounce, just gently. If that's all you can do. Obviously, if you're keen, you can jump on the thing. You can get out and jump on a trampoline. My kids love doing that. We're doing that. But there's another thing it does. You probably know, somebody here knows what it does. Besides you're feeling gravity, it's good for your bones, your muscles. There's something else it does. There's a system in our body. It's a system of one-way valves, and that up and down motion actually helps it. Lymphatic system, that's right. To help. So that sort of motion helps to move your limbs. So you're sitting there kind of, just going up and down, and it's actually moving the lymph in your body. So it's moving up, as it goes kind of up and between, a series of one-way valves, it moves up your limbs, and it requires motion. So unlike your circulatory system, your heart is pumping it. The lymphatic system relies entirely on motion. So if you're not moving, that's, the lymphatic system is what drains the waste out of different parts of your body, takes it out to get cycled out. And so you need to move, So that's a good one too, like a low intensity, low impact exercise if you need it. They do this with astronauts. When they come coming back from being in space, that's how they get them used to gravity. They just start gently bouncing on a rebounder or a trampoline. So that's a small one. Obviously, you can have that inside your house if you need that. Now, here's the thing. I've been thinking about this because we all know we need to exercise. Just like we know we need to eat better. That's why we're here, We know we need to drink water. But here's the deal. How can we become motivated to exercise? What do you think? Because I remember I was a kid and my dad got the Mr. Universe or Atlas or somebody strength training, bodybuilding course, and it's a thing you do, it takes you through so many weeks. And I remember Dad got that, okay, boys, let's go. And we were like, I was probably 10 or 11, my brother's probably 6 or 7, okay, we're going to do these, put the broomstick across 2 chairs, dining room chairs, and do these, pulling up behind your neck and sort of and we're little boys, I don't remember how long that lasted. To be motivated and to keep going, to get your exercise, what things do you need to be sure you're actually going to exercise? What motivations or what things you put in place? What do you think?
I was just going to say, go and see someone who can't walk anymore because they've neglected all these things. Imagine yourself being in their shoes. Once you get to be really big, myself, I don't move.
Okay, so you're thinking in the future, and you're realizing you've got to do something to keep your health. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Anybody else? What do you think? Great. So that's a big one for me. I need a buddy. Yeah. Right. Anybody else? Okay, so you need to be able to enjoy it, look forward to it. Yes. There you go. That's a hump to get over, because people say that when you're exercising, you sort of enjoy. Yes, I do, but get a dog. Yeah. So there's a few things, like you have to have a purpose. It might be something that's a necessity. I don't really want to, but I have to. That's good enough. I mean, it makes you do it, right? It's a routine. It's just something that you do. There's probably a mix of all of those. My son is 21. Some of you know him, special needs. He needs to exercise regularly. Someone's got to supervise him, take him and make sure he goes in the right way and comes back and, and doesn't get into mischief while he's gone. So someone's got to do that. So that's a bit of purpose, bit of necessity, bit of routine. Every day after brekkie, after certain things are done, someone's got to take him for a walk if possible. So accountability and encouragement, that's probably your buddy system. I need motivations too. Because I need exercise and I have a sedentary job, sadly. I used to work in the trades. I used to be up and down ladders all the time. So I used to be more fit in that sense. You can be skinny like me and you can still be unfit, right? So I need exercise. We all need exercise. Well, I need a motivation. I need something to make me do that because I'm not up and down ladders anymore. I'm sitting down at a desk. I'm sitting down visiting people. I'm sitting down driving in a car. I'm sitting all the time. And so I need something. So here in New South Wales, when I'm here, I volunteer with the remote area firefighting team in the Rural Fire Service. Now, that's a step up because on the remote area team, we actually have to pass a fitness test every year. We've got to walk 3 miles in 45 minutes or less, fast walk that is, so that's 4.8 kilometers in 45 minutes or less. And if you do walking, that's a good clip walking along, with 20 kilograms on as well. All right? So I did the fast walk this morning without the 20 kilograms on because in 2 days I got my pack test. They will put on the 20 kilos and do that. And I did it in 41 minutes this morning without weight on. So there's not a lot of room, and that's a good clip. So there's not a lot of room to play in there. You've got to really keep moving. But I have to train for that. There's no way I can turn up, put 20 kilos in a weight vest and go you can't do it. And so so that's a motivation because I want to stay on the remote area team, all right? So I want to be ready to do that once a year. You've got to have a motivation for something. So that's my thing with exercise. So all of us need it. We've got to move, and we know we need to move. And so there's a few ideas that to put in place to make sure we still do. Because even though things might not feel the way they used to and might hurt a little bit, I had some muscle in my leg was cramping up this morning through at least 30 minutes. And about 35 minutes, it loosened up and I was okay. I mean, I did warm up and everything, but it was still cramping up a little bit. And I just pushed. I know my body. I knew I could push through this one because it happens every time. This muscle kind of talks to me. And it's like, so you got to push through that. Someone said get a dog. There was a lady I visited a couple of years ago, and she said, I got to tell you a story. She said, I was up for a hip replacement. It was getting really bad, and I was scheduled in. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't dangerous to walk or anything, but it was really uncomfortable. So she said, I was up for surgery. And she said, someone I knew moved out of state, and they had a dog. And she said, they brought the dog over. She said, now they didn't ask me, would you take the dog? No, they turned up with the dog on the doorstep and said, this is my dog. I'm leaving the dog with you, and thank you for taking care of it. And she said, I was like, what am I going to do with this? Yep. And she said, oh dear. So the next thing, it needs to go for a walk. It's going crazy. She said, oh dear. So and her daughters couldn't do it. And she's like, so she put the leash on and she hobbled down to the end of the driveway and around the block and, okay, and she did it. So I took that dog for a walk twice a day for, I don't know how long it was, some number of months. She said, do you know I don't need a hip replacement? She said, because I wasn't moving. That's all it was. And with the movement, she said, I came good. And so she said, what I thought was terrible, I didn't want this dog. She said, I'm very grateful for it. She said, I'm getting around better than I have for a long time. She said, I wasn't walking, I wasn't moving. So that's a bit of an inspiring story for me. obviously, if you've got arthritis, you've got problems, you've got osteoporosis, you got to be careful what you do, as we all know. You know your situation, but we need to move, right? So I was really inspired by that, and I thought, well, I'm not as old as she is, but I want to make sure that at her age I'm still going. Yeah, and we have a few people with us. Pastor Sass is here, retired. He's well over 90 years old. He gets around really well. I would love to be like that, but we've got to move, we've got to hydrate, and we have to nourish ourselves. So that's a big subject, but so I won't, throw too many things in there. But I think I showed this. You remember this? The healthy eating pyramid. Anybody remember seeing this one? It's been a while. Yeah, okay. So from Nutrition Australia, it's not like the 4 food groups that I grew up with, that if you were a vegetarian, you're missing out on half of the things in there, But they're really emphasizing whole foods, so foods in their whole state, plant-based foods, and you're prioritizing what's on the bottom of the pyramid. One of the things you'll notice in the pyramid, let me just go to the actual bottom of the pyramid. One of the things you'll notice is how colorful it is. You notice that? So let's talk about this. What is in the colors that's so good for us? Besides looking nice, what's in there? What does it do for me? So it's really nice to look at. Let's say it's bright red, or it's bright blue, or it's bright orange, or it's bright green. Something makes it colorful, and those colors actually have, that's right, antioxidants. Now, I think I did a presentation here. Do you remember the one called a fire truck? Where we talked about what oxidation is, and that's what contributes to aging. So when we're born, our body is growing faster than it's breaking down. It's kind of like the roads around here seem to be breaking down faster than they're getting repaired. I know there's one I was coming on tonight back from McGrath's Hill. I was like, man, what's going on? Mulgrave, I think I was up there. I'm coming back, and it's like this bumpy bump. And so your body, though, when you're growing, when you're a kid, you're growing faster than anything's breaking down. So your body's repairing things and actually building, you're growing. But at some point in your 20s and your 30s, you slow down and it starts going backwards. So things falling into disrepair faster than they're being repaired. But you can give yourself an edge by slowing down the oxidation. So antioxidants do that. They sort of slow down that oxidation, that aging process. So it's really important that we get them in our diet. Well, they come from plants. And they come mainly from plants that have color in them. So anything that's colorful, that's the rule. That's simple, isn't it? Anything that's colorful, whether it's green or red or blue or purple, those colors actually have a function. And we used to think that there were 3 nutrients. Remember those? Was it sugar? So carbohydrate, fat, and what's the other one? Protein, thank you. That's the one. Then we realized there's a few things called vitamins, and there's a few minerals, and now we know there's thousands and thousands of phytochemicals. They call them phytochemicals. They're various compounds in plants that we don't really even know what they do yet, but they're all good for us. So that's all in the foods and in the colors. So you want to get that variety of color in your diet. Nuts and seeds are good as well when it comes to that. And I thought I mentioned the fatty acids. So that's in things like flax and chia and olive oil and avocado. Those things are good for our brain, so they're good for our mental health. They're also good for so many other things in our body. And our body needs that. So if I'm just leaving, let's say, a white pasta or French fries, or, there's so many things I'm not getting, and I'm promoting, so I'm speeding up the aging process. If I'm eating more whole and plant-based foods in my diet, then I'm slowing down the aging process. That's the idea. And so much of our lifestyle today is that. We call it food. And sometimes I walk through the shop and I look around and I think that very thought to myself, that they call this food, but it's products that are manufactured. It's what someone said, food-like substances that are manufactured. So if we want to get back to things that are a bit more in their whole state, that's really important. There's some concerning foods like refined sugar or processed seed oils. There's more awareness now about processed seed oils and the fact that they're, like there's a kind of a debate, but whether margarine was better than butter or worse than butter. And I'm on the side of margarine was worse than butter because it's what's the word? The oil has been, saturated, polyunsaturated, but it's hydrolyzed. Yes, there's another word, but it's, hydrogenated. Yes, it's been chemically changed, right? So that's not just margarine, though. That's in a lot of things when they're manufactured foods, when they use seed oils, those seed oils oxidize. And remember, we talked about antioxidants. So that's a big concern. That's a big thing that we need to be aware of. Yes?
What about olive oil spread?
Yeah, so olive oil, good question with olive oil spread. I try not to comment when I don't exactly know the answer, so I might leave that one because I'm not so sure. But olive oil is not a seed oil, it's a fruit oil. Yeah. Again, what's the relative health of the olive oil spread? I probably shouldn't comment if I don't exactly know. In our house, we try to use things in the more natural form. I understand something that's spreadable is really cool. There's probably other alternatives you can use that don't oxidize the oils as much as that. But where's my book? I left it somewhere. Oh, it's over there. I brought a copy of a book called The Ministry of Healing. We have it downstairs in the shop. It's just there. But there's a little sentence in there, or a couple sentences that say this. Grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. These foods, prepared in as simple and natural a manner as possible, are the most healthful and nourishing. They impart a strength, a power of endurance, and vigor of intellect that are not afforded by a more complex and stimulating diet. So that's really interesting. That's a classic quote now, that grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables in as simple and natural a manner as possible. There's another way we say that today that you've probably heard, and it's called whole food, plant-based diet. That's another way of saying the same thing. And when it says in as simple and natural manner as possible, well, some people are eating like raw food, they go 100% raw and things like that. Personally, I can't quite get myself to that point, But the thing is, it's not really about that. It's just about being as simple and natural, as close to nature as it can be, So I might cook the beans, but I might have the carrot raw, for example. And so that's what we really try to encourage. And for aging, that's really important. I know that we want to have foods that are quick, that are easy. And so those manufactured foods or fast foods are an easy choice. They're a quick choice. But an investment in our health needs some forward planning and maybe a bit more work for some rewards later on. So I hope that something we've talked about tonight inspires you to make a change here or there that you may need to make. So it's the beginning of a better and more healthy future, especially as we age. Hopefully we can age gracefully. Right. All right, thank you all. We are going to have some food now coming out here. The ladies told me half an hour. It's well over half an hour, so I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. Now you tell me. I haven't seen the sheets yet. Tell me what we've got on. Vegetable soup. Oh, that sounds nice. All right. What else? Gnocchi. All right. Great. Oh, okay. All right. That sounds like a nice one too. Only 3 tonight? Good. They reckon they're pretty easy, so I'm looking forward to that. It's lovely to see you all here. Like I said, few new faces, lots of familiar faces, and won't be here next week, sadly, but it's really great to see you all, and I'm looking forward to what we have tonight. Are we ready? All right, Rosetta, let's swap over.
He's got the mic. Let's go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm originally from Austria, overseas Europe, so that's my first time presenting this here. And well, my background a little bit to explain maybe the soup that I'm preparing tonight is mixed culturally. My parents are from Romania, and in our family we were very open for different nationalities and dishes. So we were trying to get into cooking everything. Austrian dishes, Romanian dishes, Yugoslavian dishes, doesn't matter, Italian or Asian. So it's a little bit of a mixture of everything. And tonight I would like to present TVP pea soup. Sounds a little funny. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein. And it's a little bit like soya that you can soak up and use instead of meat. Now, this in itself is tasteless. So it doesn't have any taste when you just cook it without any spices. It's all about spicing. And I usually soak it with hot water because it's faster. I guess you could do it in cold water as well. And then after I soaked it, I prepared it and cut it in smaller pieces. You can choose yourself the size. This will be a vegetable protein soup. So again, for the vegetables, you can use whatever veggies you have at home and you want to use. This soup is easy to make, pretty quick in preparing, and it gives you a lot of freedom. You just use up whatever you want at home. And the main ingredients is the peas and the TVP. Now, I also prepared some onion already, cut up and chopped, as well as some carrots. They are just sliced in little slices, maybe thick as a coin. For the beginning, I usually always start with the TVP. That's the most exciting part of the soup. So I fry them up a little bit. Not much oil, but a little is needed. Otherwise, it's gonna stick on the pot. And the frying has the purpose for developing the taste of the spices. So again, with the spices you can play around, you can be creative, you can use whatever you want. I once tried it with rosemary, thymian, Italian herbs. You can play, you can make a gyros taste or whatever you want. For tonight, I decided to go more to the direction of goulash, like the Hungarian soup. So I'll use smoked paprika, which I think is really nice, and a little bit of nutmeg. For the spicy part, you can use a little bit of cayenne pepper or black pepper if you wish. You can also leave it out. It's really all up to you. It's your choice. So let's turn this on. I never used this before. I need to turn it on. Thank you. How do I do that? I need a little help. How does it work? Makes sense. Without bottle, there won't be any.
There's no gas, there's no fire.
No gas, no fire. Well, that's sad. That's why I use always an electric stove.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I need to apologize. There's some technical issue. Without gas, no fire. Without fire, no cooking. So we gotta wait a little and see what's happening. Well, maybe I can give you a little bit of background details. How did I come to this soup, or the idea of the soup? I was inspired when I was a little child. I have an auntie and an uncle who live in Italy, and she made once pasta with a sauce, a red tomato sauce, with lots of peas and not TVP, but soya chunks in it. And I loved it. So that kind of stuck that image in my brain. And some time ago I was thinking, what if I would use those ingredients and make a soup? So that's how I came making the soup. And after I tried a couple of times, I really liked it. So I started making it regularly. I thought I'll present it tonight as well, because it's easy to make, tasty, and you can play a lot with it. It will always a little vary depending on the veggies and the spices you're using. Yes? How much? Okay. So this one that I'm preparing tonight, and it's on the recipe as well, serves about 8 dishes, which means like if you have a normal pot of a size, you can eat as a person, not as a teenager maybe because you're more hungry, so you might eat 2 bowls of that, but usually 1 bowl is good. So with those 8, if you're a family of 4, you can eat twice. I'm using about 400, 500 grams of peas, because that's the main part of the veggies. Carrots, here I have 3 carrots of regular size. You can have 2, you can have 4, depending on how much you like it. For the parsley root, I think it's called, the white carrot I like calling it, that one I would use little of it, only 1 maybe, or yeah, it could be. I'm not really sure how it is in English, but I think that's the one. So that one has a very strong flavor. And for that one, if you put too much, it will taste only like it. So I always use a little bit, 1 or half of it. Celery you can use, I don't know, maybe if you have it as a big thing, 1, 2 slices in proportion. But it should be less or about the same amount of what you use your carrots maybe, if you put carrots in. So 400 peas, I don't know, I didn't measure in grams the carrots and stuff, I just took them by pieces. So here I have 3 carrots, for example. It's like, how should we say? 1 onion or 2 onions. If you like onion is always great. Onion and garlic, my mom always said you can use them in any dish. Whatever dish you make, onion and garlic goes well. You start with it and it will be perfect. So if you like it and there is no problem, you can use more of it, 2 onion maybe, or for that quantity, or 1 onion. I will use 1 now, but as I said, it's pretty much freedom on it. Thank you. So then we can start doing this one. For the measuring, I used it very simple. Everyone has little teaspoons at home, I hope, and normal tablespoons. I will put not a full little teaspoon of nutmeg on, so it's going to be just to cover the surface. It's a little difficult now. I'll lay it down, push on it. So yeah, not a full one, just to cover on it. Put it on. Smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon. About that much. And then soy sauce. Normally I never cook with measurement. So I just do by the eye. And then I look at it and I feel, well, that should be enough. So for this one, exercising it, I discovered like maybe about 6 of the soya sauce spoons. 4, 5, 6. And that should be it for the taste. Now I gotta stir it, otherwise it's gonna stick to the pot. And I fry it usually till all the liquid is gone. So, because they've been soaked before, it is maybe a little watery as well. And when it gets slightly crispy, then I just set it aside and go on to the soup. Yeah, by the way, this TVP beef slice is called. You can get it in our shop as well. We're selling it downstairs. And yeah, later on I will use for the soup, in case you don't have many veggies, like I have only onion, carrot and peas, to give it a little more different flavors. You can use also this, how do they call it, stock powder? Like vegetable stock powder or any other stock powder you wish. And these ones you can also buy in the shop. Can I change the heat on that as well? And the strength? Yeah, a little higher. To be done quicker. The serving goes out. Basically, we can do the same thing a little bit with the veggies. When you fry things, it's not that healthy, but it develops the taste, the individual taste of the different veggies and anything you use. To not fry again too much, what I will do a little trick that I've learned from my mom as well. Putting little bit of oil and water as well. Oh, I'll need water. Can I ask for some water? Doesn't matter, just some water. Hot or cold won't make a big difference because it'll heat up anyways. Thank you. So then I'll start this one as well. No? The other way? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Water. Put the onion. So all I do is now just put the veggies as well in the pot. That was one onion, chopped up and prepared. Carrots, that's about 3 carrots. And the peas. I had frozen peas from the shop, so it's nothing special about it. And this one is ready. Okay. Just to show a little around, that's how it looks when it's about finished and ready. So it gets a little bit of color, let's say, from the frying. And yeah, then it's ready to set aside. If we keep it long, it's gonna just burn on it. This textured vegetable protein, I'm not sure what exactly how it's made. So, soy protein probably then, yeah. So that's how it looks approximately. And I'll quickly get to my veggies as well before they burn. So yeah, that's the texture. Okay. Now, getting to the pot with vegetables. It takes a while till it heats up. And I'm putting there about, I usually start salting the food in the very beginning. So no matter if I do the soup or I do some sauce for pasta, rice, whatever I do, I always salt in the beginning usually, which is a little over salted, because then I add tomato sauce if it's for a sauce, or I add the water into the soup, and I'll just be the right amount. Now, this is usually difficult to tell how much do you need of it. It depends on how salty the salt is. It might sound funny, but not every salt is the same salty. So I will use little teaspoons and put about 3 or 4 little spoons of this. So now I'll put 3.5, let's say. Better not over salting it, and you can always add salt than put too much in the beginning. Once I was cooking, I kind of knew how much I need to put of the salt, and I didn't taste the food. And then it was way too salty. The problem was not that I did put too much. The thing was, we changed the salt. I had a different type of salt, and that salt was much stronger in flavor than the one I had before. That's why I say you kind of need to know a little bit how salty your salt is. I also add majoram, or how do you call it? Marjoram? Well, in German we'd say majoram, so we take the J sound out. And I put 1 big tablespoon, you can put even 2. This gives always a good taste as well to the soup. Well, maybe I should have cut it a little bigger to get it easier out. So yeah, it's about 1 spoon. And maybe a little more, because it sticks on it. Yeah, you can buy it. I bought it in the Woolies. I think you can get it in any supermarket. So that should be no problem. Oh, I forgot to put any black pepper on the PVP. It is only if you want it a little spicy from the taste. It's not necessarily needed. As I wrote it in the recipe, it's optional. And I'm also adding the stock powder. Now I'll put 2 of these little cubes in. So yeah, the veggies are stir frying a little, and after a while, all you need to do is just take water and pour it on top. And from the water, I usually always fill the pot so far above that I could tell that the veggies are about 3/4 inside, swimming inside, and the other 1/4 is water on top. That's for me because I like it a little bit more liquid. If you want it thicker, you put less water. If not, yeah, a little more water, please. I mean, full one. So I need 2 more of the full one, maybe. And then most of the work is done. You just leave it to cook. It takes all in all about 2 hours, what I measured. Now it depends obviously on the strength you're cooking it. If you leave it a little less strong, the heat, it will just combine the taste better while it soaks in. If you want it quickly done, you just full on cook it, and then it'll be done quicker. And towards the end or even in the middle, it doesn't really matter that much. You can just add the TVP inside, and the soup is done. Excuse me, could you repeat the question? Yes. No, this is dry stored. It's completely dry. So usually it can survive very, very long, I think. And the only thing you do when you use it, like in this one is like 200 gram. I use the half of it. You just soak it. And after you soak it, you use it. I'm not sure if you can have it soaked stored, if that works long. I never tried because you can soak them so quick. You just boil water quickly, pour it out, and in 5 minutes it's ready. Maybe a little more. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more, or it's good like this. It's fine. Okay, I also like adding, I forgot about that, bay leaves into the soup. Usually I go about 2 bay leaves. These ones we just put in for the taste, and we leave them in or we take them out because we don't eat them. I never tried eating it, and I don't think it's really soft ever. And if it has nutrients, maybe Brother Nathan could clear us up on that. I don't know. Bay leaves. I have no idea. Yeah, pretty much. I'll just add this in and then we'll let it cook and it's done. Yeah, maybe I can go around a little with the soup, show how it looks at the moment. Yeah. Is it cinnamon? Okay. Yeah, so the TVP is swimming on top. You don't see the... Okay. Yeah, you don't see the veggies right now, but they're in there. Mm-hmm. Okay, it seems I'm getting a little of exercise now. That's all right. Good. Okay. That's all right. Yeah, I mean, it needs more cooking. It's not yet to eat, but after this, I don't do anything to it anymore. I just leave it on the stove and it's gonna be finished in time. The carrots, the peas, all the veggies are under it. As the TVP swims on top. Looks. Yeah, that's pretty much how it looks on the top pot. And the finished one, once you pour it out, looks like this. I guess you probably saw it anyways, because you tasted it. So, yes, that's it on my part. Thank you. Yeah, you know, they're looking like this and they are hard, they are dry. Once you soak them in, they will expand and be soft. Once they expand and they're soft, they're done. So it can be 2 minutes, it can be 5 minutes. The water is very hot in the beginning when you try pouring out, so maybe not touching it with the hand, maybe with the blade or something, but it'll be ready. So it doesn't take long because it soaks in very quick. I haven't tried it with mushrooms. I guess it works, but I would probably rather go on, as we have peas, carrots, you can have, even if you want corn, you can have lentils, you can have even beans if you want. It changes the direction of the taste. You can have leek, celery, what else? There is broccoli. I tried it with broccoli as well. You can put, how is it, the white broccoli called? Cauliflower. Yeah. So any of these ones work. And as said, so if you use more this type, not the beans, lentils things, it's gonna be more like normal vegetable stew, soup. If you go more towards the beans and other things, it'll become more like goulash or like Mexican direction or whatever. So you can just play with it. Sure. Oh, sorry. Have fun. Okay.
On? Testing, testing. Okay, hi everyone. How's it going so far? Enjoying yourselves? Good first course, entree? Good, okay. We are going to make gnocchis, sort of gnocchis. My Italian mother-in-law was watching me make these last night and she was very nice about it, but I think she was a bit horrified. So anyway, we'll just go with it. So rather than making these out of potato, we're going to use pumpkin. I've made this, I don't know how many times. I never measure. So the recipe you have is a guesstimate based on the batch I made last night. But like Italian food, you just measure with your heart. I've also done this with beetroot, and you end up with really pink looking gnocchis, which is really pretty. So I've done like tricolour, so you do like potato, pumpkin and beetroot and do them all separately, and then you end up with like a tricolour gnocchi dish. Quite nice. But anyway, so what we've done, which, I mean, you all know how to roast a pumpkin. So what we've done is roasted our pumpkin, cubed it smallish. I think this was a Jap pumpkin, but it doesn't matter what you use. Drizzled it with a little bit of oil or spray, whatever you want, or just omit the oil altogether if you'd prefer. Sprinkle of salt, chuck it in the oven for about half an hour. And then for the last 10 minutes of baking, I've added some fresh sage leaves, just throw it on the tray. Bake it for another 10 minutes with the pumpkin. Once you pull it out, your sage should be crispy. Leave it aside, and then you separate your pumpkin. So we're going to use some for the gnocchi and some for like our sauce topping thing. But you can top it with whatever you want. My favourite thing is to do a butter sage sauce with it, but we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to go healthy tonight. But make a tomato sauce to go with it is really nice, so whatever. But first of all, we're going to chuck our roast pumpkin in a bowl. And I'm just going to give that a quick mash with the fork. And just while Mum's adding the water there, I'm going to salt the water. Add a bit of salt, more than you think. Okay. Now I'm just going to mash. That should be fine. It'll boil quicker. So just give that a quick mash with your fork. You'll end up with some pumpkin chunks through it. So if you don't want that, you could whiz this in a blender and get it really smooth pureed. But I don't know. I'm all for simpler, the better. We don't muck around. So you end up with little chunks of pumpkin in your gnocchi sometimes. But our sauce is pumpkin too, so it's all pumpkin. I had a quick look for some sort of details about pumpkin. Like Nathan mentioned in his talk earlier, it's full of antioxidants. It's that bright orange colour. It's also got beta-carotene, it's got fibre, so it's good for you for a few different reasons. Okay, now your ingredients there have a flour measurement. I don't know how much pumpkin I put in here, so I don't know how much flour I'm going to need. So I'm just going to go for it. And we're going to hope for the best and get the right consistency. So that's normally what I do at home. So we just add a little bit of flour at a time. Give it a sorry, can you all see that? Move the flour bag out of the way. Mix it. If you've got one of those like dough paddle things, you can use that to scrape the sides of the bowl. Might be a little bit easier than with a fork. We're just going to keep adding flour until we get a dough-like consistency. Wow, that has come to the boil quickly. Oh, and before I forget, we're going to mix in a teeny pinch of nutmeg. It's way too much what's in here, so I'm literally just going to take a pinch. So that's just some ground nutmeg. I reckon nutmeg and pumpkin are a nice combo. So just give that another mix. See how we end up with this much flour. You don't want it too hard. One thing you can do as well is if you don't want to keep adding flour and you're happy with a softer dough, you can then spoon the mixture into your water and then boil that. That's a different way of doing it, but it also works. I've done that too. So when you don't feel like rolling it out and chopping it, that's another way of doing it. So we might be getting there now. It's looking pretty good. Basically, the longest part of this recipe is baking the pumpkin. Yeah. Oh, it's in the way. Okay, that's right. Sorry, I'll pop it there. Sorry, everyone. Okay. All right, that's probably not too bad. So it's still a bit soft. You can see that, but it has formed a ball. We're going to flour our surface as well. At home I just do this straight on the bench, but it's not so nice on the tablecloth. So what I'm going to do is scoop out a little bit there. Now this is not, oh sorry, that's going to be in your way, isn't it? Which way should I put the bowl? That's okay? Okay. Now, flour the surface, we roll it out, get sort of a log going. This is probably part of the reason why my mother-in-law was horrified, because I wasn't being very particular about it. So you get what you get, the log. And then nice sharp knife with a flat edge. If you've got one of those, I don't know how to describe it, like a paint scraper, we buy them from Bunnings in plastic and use them in the kitchen. They're really great because you just like go along and just stab it as you go and cut little pieces off. So I'm just going to do that, make little pieces. And again, in your recipe, I've said if you want to make it look like proper gnocchi, you can then roll them down a fork or across a cheese grater or something to get the nice indentations, which I guess technically is done because it helps hold sauce on the gnocchi when you've got it in the sauce. But I just want to eat, so I never do that. This to me is plenty. You would have to add more flour. Yeah, so I've kept this quite soft and I've tried not to over mix it, so then you get a softer gnocchi out of it. I'm not measuring either, sorry everyone. That's kind of it, and then you just pop them in your boiling water. Once they start to float, you lift them out, stick them in a bowl, and that's it. Mum was on fishing duty for me earlier when we were doing the sample batch, so she knows what she's doing. Oop, just chuck that one. So yeah, that's basics of making gnocchi. You can just do that with potato instead, adjust your flour amount till you get the consistency you want. I mean, it's not rocket science. Like I said, you can have it really soft and then spoon it in. You can do it firmer to get a real proper dough. Same with the potato, you could blend it to get a proper puree and then you don't end up with chunky bits in it. Yeah, they're already starting to float. So that's it. It takes like 2 minutes barely in the boiling water. So I'm going to swap with Amy. She's going to come out and start her dessert. I'll come back later to do the pumpkin sauce, to go with our pumpkin gnocchi. But just, is there any questions in the meantime for now at this stage? Yes. Don't see why not. Don't see why not. Yep. You'd probably end up with a lighter colour if you were doing potato and pumpkin, but yeah, I don't think will be true. Yeah, exactly. I did see recipes online where some people did pumpkin gnocchi, but they still did a potato gnocchi and then added pumpkin to it. But I was just doing it as a full pumpkin, just as an option. But yeah, definitely. Any other questions? Nope, no worries. I will tell Amy she can come out and start on her. Oh, here's your samples. You can eat those while you wait for Amy. The sauce, just so you know, is, I mean, you've seen the recipe, but it's pumpkin, sage, capers, and pine nuts. Thank you. Sorry.
Just grabbing the mic.
That's fine.
Sit on. I don't know. All right, come on, buddy. Ooh. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Oops. After you. All right, how are we enjoying the evening? Oh, I'm glad. Let me just turn that off. Hopefully it shouldn't be on. Right, can you go and get the little plate with the sample, please, from the kitchen? Thank you. I've got a little helper tonight. He said he wants to demonstrate. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so this evening for dessert, we are going to make baklava fingers. Thank you. Just put it around the front. Yep, okay. Awesome, thanks buddy. All right, so we're going to start first by doing the filling. I think we might bring this over here. What do you reckon? Yeah, that's a good idea, is it? Okay. So, first up, you can come around this way, please. We're going to put 1 cup of pistachio nuts. 1 cup of walnuts. Beautiful. And then we are going to put the lemon rind of 1 lemon. And I'll just grab, pour it in, all of it in. Sorry, bear with me, I just need my measuring cups.
Have you had this one, Zachy?
Yes.
Is it any good?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
I think it's delicious.
All right, there we go. That's cool.
Okay, sorry about that. We forgot these guys. All right, so into this mixture we are going to put, now it's not on your recipe sheet, I forgot to put it in the recipe sheet, but we're going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Hold on, let me just find the teaspoon. So if you can write it onto your recipe sheet, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. All right. Here, bud, you want to dip that in there? Thank you. And now I didn't bring my recipe out here, but correct me if I'm wrong, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. So can you hold that? You sure it's 3 tablespoons? Yes. You remember?
Yeah.
All right, so pour it over the top and I'll pour it in. All right, so we go 1, 2, and 3. All right, thank you, Zachy. All right, now we're going to make a little bit of noise. Okay. Oh, where's my lid? Oh, there's my lid. All right, so pop it all in your food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can just grind the nuts up first in whatever machine, or you can get already ground nuts and then just mix it together. It's not on properly. Oh, thank you. Well, now I've got it stuck. What am I doing? Oh, it's not either. Thank you. Do you want to use your muscles? Sorry about that. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. You can turn it on. More, all the way out. Yeah, it's looking good. Did it splash on you? Not yet. All right, now turn it off. Now it'll kind of clump together. If you do want it a little bit more, I don't know, mixed together or more chunky, leave it in whatever you like. It's personal preference. So then we just put that filling aside. Thank you. And we get our pastry ready. Okay. All right, so we're going to use, well, let's move this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Well, we'll need it later on, but for now it's all good. Okay. That's for later as well. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to get our sheet of, can you put that one on the tray? Thank you, of our phyllo pastry. Now I'm kind of cheating today. I'm using an oil spray. You can use a brush if you want. It'll just take a bit longer. Having the boys at home, we like to do things in a real quick hurry. We don't have time, do we, to fiddle. Can you go and ask Auntie Rosetta for a sharp knife, please? Thank you. All right, so open up your pastry. We're going to use 6 sheets. Now it does dry out, so trick of the pastry not drying out is to put a tea towel over the top. I won't do that tonight, but anyway. So we do one sheet, whoops, excuse me, and just give it a spray of oil. And then we'll do two. You can use olive oil. It'll just change the taste a little bit. 2 sheets. Oh, you got it? Whoops. Okay, not yet. Let's just pop it over here. Thank you. I'm going to count how many sheets I put down. I've got 2 down. We need another 4 more. All right. So 3. So pretty easy, very fast. Then we got 4. How many is that? 4. Okay. How many is that?
5.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you do want a bit less pastry, you don't have to do the 6 sheets, but if you want more pastry, you can do more. Totally up to you. Oh, thank you. All right, so is that 6?
Yep.
All right, now we're going to just divide this into even rectangles depending on what size you want it. So I cut it down the middle and then I go across. Yeah, buddy. Ooh, and then I do it 2 more times. So out of 6 sheets, I get 12 fingers. And it's rough. You'll see some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. If you want to get a ruler out, go for it. All right. So then we get our filling. Let's just fold this back up and pop it in the box. Thank you. So we get our filling, and it's quite sticky. You'll see it sticks kind of together. All right, are you ready to do your part? Yeah. Okay, so this part gets a little bit messy. So I get the filling and make kind of like a long sausage, and we put it there, and then we're going to roll it. Okay, you roll it up into a finger and then just pop it on the tray. Good job. Yep. And you just keep repeating this. So you can make the rest of the pastry, if you don't want to do it all at once, can go in the fridge. That's it. Make it tight. Oh, that's all right. So if you get it messed up, it's pretty easy to just unroll it and start again. There we go. And that's pretty much it. So once you've got the fingers done, then we're going to bake them in the oven, 200 degrees at 15 to 20 minutes until they're golden brown. Pretty much. So I'm going to hand you back over to Vivian, and we'll finish this out the back, and then we'll come back and do the syrup at the end of the night. So thank you very much. Let's take it out the back. You bring the tray. Thank you. All right, let's go. Vivian's round 2.
Feel free to turn off. Okay, I'm back. Excited for the baklava? It smells really good back there. Okay, so now we're going to do our quick sauce topping. I don't know what to call it. It's a little bit saucy if your pumpkin is mushy. Otherwise, when I made it last night, my roast pumpkin didn't go mushy, so it was like cubed pumpkin mixed in with pumpkin gnocchi. So whatever you end up with. But yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is if you don't want to roast your pumpkin for the gnocchi, you could boil it, but then it ends up more like water saturated, so you probably have to... Oh, am I on? Can people hear me? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Sorry, Dawny. I'll talk louder. Yeah, you might have to adjust the amount of flour you use because your pumpkin's going to be more watery. But my mother-in-law did tell me if you do decide to cook your pumpkin that way, you can then use the pumpkin boiling water to make risotto out of, and she recommends that too. Okay, so let's get this thing going. This is a really hot, high heat. So all I'm going to do is throw in the rest of my roast pumpkin. Get that going a little bit. I haven't added oil to the pan because we did roast the pumpkin with a bit of oil, but it's up to you if you wanted to add more. Yay amount of pine nuts, how much you like. Fun fact, they're actually a seed, not a nut. So we'll just get those going a little bit, toast the pine nuts, get those aromas through. Did it taste okay? You guys already tried this. Was it all right? Yeah? Okay, good. Super simple. Thanks. With or without capers, again, up to you. I'm not the biggest fan of capers, but I know people do like them, and I thought maybe they add a little bit of like a tangy saltiness to the mixture, but up to you. But yeah, we're going to add them. So these are just your plain, boring supermarket capers in a jar. Throw them in. And then these are our crispy sage leaves that we baked with our pumpkin earlier. I'm just going to grab sort of a handful. Well, that's basically all of them. I'll just crunch them before I put them in. And that's pretty much it. Now you probably will want to add a little bit of salt to this, so taste as you go. But to finish it off, just a drizzle of olive oil. If you eat parmesan, some parmesan on top. Otherwise, savoury yeast flakes are a good vegan alternative. They taste really nice on top. So yeah, just as soon as we get this stirred through, you can go in and just throw your gnocchi in to reheat it. I'm going to do that. And that is your pumpkin on pumpkin gnocchi. Yeah, just heat that up and then, yeah, serve with an extra drizzle of fresh olive oil and parmesan or savoury yeast flakes or cashew cheese or whatever your preference is. So yeah, any questions? Any comments? Any, I don't know, criticisms? I'm open to everything. Nope. Okay, no worries.
That's nice. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
Very good.
I made a bit of a mess here, but that's okay. We'll get Amy back out here to finish her syrup for her baklava.
You guys.
Got to turn her mic off. That would help. And I got to come back in the middle so I can be seen. So we have, what do we have? 3 weeks, I think, on the schedule. Yeah. So please come back next week as well. We're not done yet, but I'm just saying. I unfortunately won't be here, but I might join in online just so I can catch up. All right. Oh. Ready to go, Amy?
Thank you very
All right. Let me just turn you back on. All right. Good to go.
Beautiful. All right, I'm just waiting for my half cup. How's everything tonight? You've enjoyed it? That's good. So in a saucepan, to finish off the dessert, we're going to do half a cup of maple syrup. Oh, here comes my helper. Sorry, I have to wait. Here we go. You can pour half a cup of maple syrup in here and pour it in the saucepan. Do you want me to? I'll hold it, you pour it. How's that? I pour it. Okay. All right. There we go. Half a cup.
That's not half a cup.
Yep. Well, that's a half a cup measure. There we go. And then we're going to get 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Is that vanilla?
This is vanilla. You ready? Right, whoops. Can you pour that in?
Can I squeeze it? Oh, you do.
Yep, that's all right. We'll just tap it there, like that. And then this is the easy part, not like at home. I don't have to wash the dishes. Thank you. All right, so you just combine the vanilla and the maple syrup on the stove. Good, here we go. And just bring it to a boil. So I normally do it, I wait until the fingers are pretty much almost done, and then I just get my syrup ready. Once they come out of the oven golden brown, we haven't had a chance to bake them because Vivian was too quick, but once they're baked, then you just pour the syrup over the top. And that's it. So pretty simple. Yes, darling. Yes, they're eating the baklava fingers. Yes, so pretty easy dessert. And yeah, my children, they both like it, so hopefully you enjoyed it as well. But I think that's pretty much it for us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy.
No worries.
If you want to, don't wear the mic out of the room because then you walk in the back. I'm 1 up now. But what do you reckon? All good? Great. All right. So yeah, we want to get more of our fruit and veg in, you know. And for the kids, you find ways to, like in the knock, I like that, you know, just sneak the veggies in all sorts of ways. It's really good as well. All right. So creatively. So we want to hydrate. What was it? Hydrate, exercise, and nourish. Yeah. And get those fruits and veggies in. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Again, it's next week and the week following. Feel free to stick around, socialize, whatever. We're not in a hurry to leave. I believe the shop will be open downstairs. There's lovely things to check out down there in case you haven't. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Why don't we just have a word of prayer and thank our Heavenly Father for being with us here. Dear Lord, we just thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for food. Thank you for health. And we ask that you'll preserve that health for everyone who's come here. In Jesus' name, amen. Good night. We'll see you all around. Take care.